Hi folks, Paul Padda coming to you live on June 26, 2019 from Red Chimp Media Studios. Another beautiful day, summer day in Las Vegas. Welcome to the Paul Padda podcast. Today we have a really special guest, a really great guy, someone who's going to have a lot of useful knowledge for you, a lot of great information. Welcome, Jose Gutierrez.
How you doing?
Good to have you on the program. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, Jose, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself in terms of how long have you lived in Las Vegas, what brought you to Vegas if you're not from here, and what do you do?
Yeah. Well, my name is Jose Gutierrez, actually owner of and president of Sudden Impact Auto Body. Been in Las Vegas now for 33 years. Started in this business when I was 13 years old.
Wow, 13 years old.
13
Isn't that like
years
child labor violations?
Yeah, right? 13 years old. A friend of mine's parents on summer break needed some help. I was looking to earn a little extra cash, and I got introduced to the auto body.
So you moved here like when you were around 13 years old?
No, I moved here in the early 80s from Denver.
Ah, I see.
From Denver. And
wow.
The economy had kind of taken a dump out there, so my wife's parents had moved to Vegas.
Okay.
And you know how wives follow their parents, right? So, especially moms.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, let's give it a shot. And
so you're originally from Denver?
Yeah, from Denver.
And then, of course, a much cooler environment
yes.
compared to our blistering summers here,
right.
which on this day, June 26th, it's like, I think, 100 degrees or more outside. But having said that, okay, so you come to Vegas, you start working in the auto body industry.
Yeah, I had been in the industry. I was actually an automotive painter for many years.
Okay.
So I was actually the painter in the body shop for many, many years.
What is the thing about Las Vegas that you like the most?
You know, I love the heat.
You like the heat?
I love the heat and be able to eat any time of the day.
Isn't it the opposite? I think the heat makes you less hungry, I find.
Right. No, not me.
No? Okay. Well, so it's a guy who went to school in Chicago and suffered through a lot of winters.
Winters, right.
Yeah, I thought there was like nothing else to do except eat. But here, I think with the year-round weather, it's like, you know, my thing is I just get cooped up in an office sometimes. I wish I could be out there,
right.
You know, maybe if there was a beach closer by, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Beach would be good, right? That's the only thing Vegas is missing.
That's right.
But the people are great out here, and you know, Vegas has been really good to myself and my family.
Yeah. And then, you know, one of the things I've noticed in Vegas, which seems, at first it was very odd, I noticed that there seems to be so many advertisements for personal injury attorneys.
Yes.
And at the time I was a prosecutor in the government, I started my own practice. I eventually got into doing personal injury. And there's a lot of auto body shops here in town.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems to be a very prominent practice area. But then when you stop and think about it, we are a unique city, right? Because
yes.
we're a 24/7 city.
Right.
So there are people that work from 9 to 5, and there's plenty of people that work from 6 to whatever, like 2 in the morning, all kinds of shifts. And those are, you know, for some of those people, happy hour starts at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Exactly.
So there's going to be accidents. There's going to be people on the roads at all hours, and that's what I think makes Vegas exciting. But it also obviously, there's more accidents here than other places because
there's a ton of accidents out here. You know.
So, Sudden Impact Auto Body. Tell us more about your business.
Well, you know, Sudden Impact Auto Body, we started in 2002, so we've been 17 years in the business. Mm-hmm. Our goal is to just do a safe repair, take the pressure off of the customer to deal with the insurance companies, and let us take that process for them, make it easier for them.
No, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Jose, one of the sort of taglines or themes of our law firm is it's not just about the injury, it's about the recovery.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think, oh, I've been injured, I got to go deal with a lawyer. But it's about getting back on your feet.
Right.
And so what I've seen as an attorney is that people come in and they say, well, how long is it going to take for me to, you know, get back to where I started?
Right.
I didn't ask to be in an accident. I don't want to be in an accident. This is an annoyance for me in my life. And so the medical part is obviously it's got to work itself out. I'm not a doctor. I send people to doctors who can help them, and those clients get good treatment. But one of the things I've noticed as a personal injury attorney that's a really big issue for every single client is the property damage aspect.
Yes.
It's the annoyance of not having your car.
Not having your car.
You know, most people, if I was without a phone for a day or my car, you feel so like lost without it.
And you want your car.
You want your car, exactly. That's right.
You don't want to drive a rental car. You want your car, which you're comfortable in. You know, it's not too big, it's not too small. Sometimes you get a rental and it might be a 4-speed instead of an automatic, or vice versa.
Well, and then also you want original parts. You
Yes.
want someone who can talk to the insurance companies in their language, who can explain to them why, just like a doctor will diagnose a patient, right? And say, Paul, here's what's wrong with your client. This is what the recovery period is going to look like.
Right.
In essence, you're like a doctor. You're diagnosing the damage to their vehicle,
are.
right?
Yeah.
You're
and
making
we're
an assessment.
taking it to an extent of, like I said, when these cars get in a wreck, it's like you can say a 1,000-piece puzzle. You open the box and you open it up, throw it in the air, right?
Right.
And there's pieces everywhere. And it just amazes me, the techs and the people that we have working for us and the care that they have to how we're going to put the car together also for the customer. Like you spoke about with the aftermarket parts, the Taiwanese parts.
Right.
Insurance companies are really pushing these Taiwanese parts. That's what they want to do.
So it's cheaper.
Well, yeah. And that, they're all about the cheaper. And unfortunately, it's not about the safety.
Right.
Which that's where it really needs to begin. It's about the safety. We're able to, with some of these aftermarket parts, we're able to match that price through the factory OEM parts. And if we're not, if we get the aftermarket part, we'll put it on the car to show the insurance company that why we can't use it.
Yeah.
And then we call the insurance company back out, and then they'll give us the authority to go ahead and put a OEM part.
That's interesting. So, okay, so now someone's been in an accident. They reach out to me. Maybe I refer them to you, or they find you on their own. Walk folks through the process of what's going to happen next.
Okay, we get the customer in the car or in the shop, and we go out and look at the vehicle with them. At the same time, when they were in the accident, they may have had something happen that we didn't notice. Sometimes in an accident, their knee may hit up underneath the dash and break some trim panel. They may have had a Coke or something in the car also at the same time that splattered all over the car. But we want to go through everything so that when the car is done, it's done. We walk them in, we get the claim number from them and the insurance company. And at that point, we get them in a rental car. If they have rental car policy, we can put them in a rental car, send them on their way. We stay in touch with the customer every Tuesday and Thursday. We call every single person and let them know what's going on with the process.
That's great.
How we're dealing with the insurance company, what the insurance company's saying, any delays in parts, all those things. We stay in constant contact with them, which I think is very, very important because nobody, like you said, it's an inconvenience.
Yeah.
And you want to know, where is my car, what's going on, what part of the process is it in.
Now, if they need a loaner, can you help them out with that?
We don't have loaners, but we can get them into a rental car.
Okay.
We do have deals with some certain places where they're cheaper than other places, and we can get them into a rental car.
Okay. So kind of just thinking this through, as a lawyer who deals with these types of cases, what's interesting to me is that even if, let's say, you resolve their property damage issue, fix their car, you could be an actually interesting witness even in their personal injury case, because a lot of times these insurance companies will argue that it's a low impact accident. And if it's low impact, that means they really can't be injured. But I'm sure your experience will tell you that just because something's low impact doesn't mean there can't be significant damage.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. And we go through that. I have one in the shop right now that the insurance company actually had a reconstruction company come out and take a look at it. And they said it was low impact before we took the bumper and everything off, right? We got the bumper off and everything, and we're looking at $6,000 worth of damage.
Yeah.
It wasn't a low impact.
Right. And then some of that damage can be to parts that are really like it could be combustible, or it could be the axle, which can't be fixed.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, and then can lead to bigger problems later.
Bigger problems.
It's kind of like, I have clients who come in and they look fine. They go to the doctor, they get diagnosed with a brain injury perhaps. That's not the type of injury that necessarily you're going to wake up and feel the pain every day. It's a subtle type of injury. The car is the same thing, right? It's a machine like any other, and it could be damaged.
Yeah, and sometimes there's a delayed reaction. We call it, from the impact also, it's the inertia of the impact, because just because the car got hit in the front or the rear, the impact has to travel through the vehicle. That impact will travel also through the customer in the car.
Right, that's a great point.
And that's what we have to be careful of.
Yeah, the physics of it.
Yep, the physics of it.
So do you also play a role as an advocate? Let's say you're dealing with an insurance company and they're saying, well, we're authorizing this type of, this amount of money for fixing the car. Do you ever come back and say, look, the damage is much more significant, you guys are going to have to put in more money. Do you do that?
Every day.
Every day, okay.
Every day.
So you are an advocate for the people.
Yeah, they never, they never put what they're supposed to be. That's part of the reason we've really pursued heavy into the manufacturer certifications.
Okay.
So the reason that we've gone into the manufacturer certifications is we want to know that we're also fixing the car safe and fixing it right. The insurance companies, they don't know how to fix a car.
Yeah.
Okay, they come out and they're dollars and cents, and that's all they are. By going through the process and investing in the tools and all the equipment, we're guaranteeing the customer that we're able to fix the car right and be able to talk to the insurance company, print the technical bulletin on how it needs to be repaired on certain parts, how they have to be replaced.
Yeah.
And there are certain parts on a car that cannot be repaired. We can't fix cars like we did 20 years ago. And so that's why we've went heavy into the investment into the manufacturer certifications.
That's really interesting. Tell me, in terms of now, I see cars, even the most basic cars, the amount of technology.
Exactly.
These cars are basically moving computers in essence.
That's exactly what they are.
Right? So how has that changed your business in terms of the complexity? And also, counterpart to that question is, how has that made repairing a car more complicated than it used to be?
It's, like you said, it's like working on a computer.
Yeah.
It's not working on just sheet metal anymore.
Yeah.
And interstructural components. We have sensors that stop the car.
Right.
Sensors that start your windshield wipers if a drop of rain hits the windshield. Sensors for seeing. I mean, all these sensors. Blind spot sensors. You got sensors now that keep the car in the lane. There's so many things. So it's very important. Like I said, there's a lot. You got to understand that in this town and in most towns, in Las Vegas, there's probably about 3% of body shops that are actually certified to repair a car correctly, that actually have the right tools to do it.
Wow.
When the car first gets in...
And you're one of those 3?
We're one of those shops.
Okay.
When the car first gets in the shop and customer drops it off, the first thing we do is we scan every computer in that car. We have the tools to scan it, so it tells us if there's any faulty codes, if there's anything else that needs to be addressed within the estimate.
Yeah.
And then once you disassemble it, you have to scan the car again. And then again, once it's put together, you have to scan it again.
Right.
And there's a lot of calibration that goes on at the end of the job.
So so just so I understand, you are only one of 3 auto body shops?
3%.
3% among the 3%.
Among the 3%
authorized to do these type of repairs.
Absolutely.
Well, so if you're not at one of those shops, you're kind of taking
a risk.
Taking a risk that you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. I think a lot of people probably don't even know that.
Yeah.
How would they look to see whether a body shop was certified that way?
You can look up through the certifications. You can go through Nissan certification, Mazda, Hyundai, Kia, Volvo. We're the only Volvo certified shop in Las Vegas.
Now, see, I know this because actually, when my car, before we ever met, when my car had some damage as a result of 1 month after purchasing it, I get rear-ended by a woman with no insurance, out of date registration.
Right.
So I went back to the Volvo dealer, and they said, "Listen, don't fool around. Go to Sudden Impact. These are the people that we recommend." So I was very impressed to hear that.
Yeah, and the only way we can get that certification is by the manufacturer. They come out and they check our qualifications, they check our training, they check our tools, they check our processes, and everything has to be in place to even be certified.
And I would imagine to the insurance companies that's a big deal, because if you can turn around and say, "Look, we are authorized by Volvo. They put their faith in us, and we've gone through their certification process."
Oh, absolutely. It helps us big time with the insurance companies to be able to. We have access to the technical bulletins through the manufacturer, so we can print the process. Where other shops, they're still fixing cars. They're changing a radiator support or changing a quarter panel or a hinge pillar in the same manner that they used to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it can't be done that way.
It's kind of like a doctor performing a surgery based on technology and know-how of 25 years ago.
Right.
Right? Everything's changing all the time.
Everything's changed.
Yeah.
Everything's changed.
It is an interesting analogy how cars are kind of like humans, right? I mean,
right.
The human body has changed, the technology's changed.
Yeah.
We know more about our diets. We can people
we know
live
how
longer
to take care
nowadays.
Of ourselves.
Same thing with cars, the longevity of cars. Yeah.
I have an Acura in the shop right now that the insurance company had it to repair an inner panel. And when I pulled the bulletin down, it says this panel cannot be repaired to any extent.
Really? Jeez.
Panel has to be replaced.
The whole thing has to go.
Has to be replaced.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And how big a deal is that in terms of getting original parts? Is that something you really have to fight with the insurance companies
You
on?
know, we do fight it, right? Like I said, they'll put the Taiwanese parts on almost every car.
Yeah.
But it's my position to work for the customer to make sure that he's getting the right repair, he or she. And so we'll buy the part. If they don't want to put an OEM, we'll buy the part. And I pay all my people extra processes to buy these parts, get the parts in. We see if it fits. If it doesn't fit, then we contact the insurance company. Then I have to return the part, wait to get my money back at the same time.
Interesting. Yeah.
You know, but it's that extra mile that we go for the customer.
Any experiences that just stand out in your mind from the past in terms of dealing with these types of issues before?
You know, we deal with the aftermarket parts every day.
Yeah.
Every single day, because the insurance companies are writing 90% of all their estimates are factory or aftermarket parts.
Okay. Wow. Well, we're going to get back to some really interesting topics after a break. This is a segment of the program that we call Paul Padda for the People, where I just throw out some tips. And today's tip is kind of interesting. I think it dovetails to your business. This is the importance of telling your doctor everything and the importance of medical records. So kind of similar to what Jose does. When you go in and you see someone like Jose, tell him everything that happened.
Exactly.
How did the accident go down? Let him be your advocate. The medical records are your best advocate if you've been victimized by a personal injury event, because the insurance companies are going to look at those medical records. So Paul Padda for the People, here's today's tip. Hi folks, Paul Padda for the People with another helpful tip. Listen, one of the most important pieces of advice I can give you if you've been involved in a car accident or any other type of personal injury event is that when you go to the doctor following that incident, make sure you tell the doctor everything that's happened to you, okay? Remember, the doctor is a doctor, but he's not a lawyer. Their job is to basically figure out what's wrong and help you immediately. The doctor is not thinking like an attorney that, make sure I document everything. So sometimes the doctor is only going to put down on paper what you're telling them. Make sure you tell them everything. If your neck hurts, tell them that. If you're in a lot of pain, make sure you tell them that. If you have headaches, make sure you tell them that, because it's so important later that when you bring the claim that we have accurate medical records that we can show an insurance company fully document the extent of your injuries. This is Paul Padda for the People with another helpful tip. All right, we're back with Jose Gutierrez of Sudden Impact Auto Body. Very good to have you on the show, Jose. I'm learning a lot, even though I'm a personal injury attorney and I deal with this. But you know, a lot of us who are personal injury attorneys, we don't really always necessarily get involved with property damage.
Right.
But I now have kind of rechanged and oriented my thinking. It's something, because when people come in, they say, I've been in an accident, I want to be represented for a personal injury. Well, that's a personal injury. It's not a property damage claim. And so a lot of lawyers shy away from that. But I think in order to really effectively represent someone, you have to deal with all of the issues that they're dealing with, right?
I agree.
And so I have to not only walk the walk, but talk the talk. And so if our motto is it's not just about the injury, it's about the recovery. Well, part of the recovery is what you're involved with, and that's getting them back on the road, getting them back into their car the way their car was, or as best as it can be, and being an advocate to help them. And so you play a really important role in the whole process.
Getting them whole.
Getting them whole, exactly. That's a great way of putting it. That's right. So on that note, we talked a little bit before the break about how technology has changed.
Yes.
But then also in your business, as a business owner, I mean, I know you're doing some really interesting and innovative things to help people stay in touch and follow the progress of their repairs. Tell us about the app that you have.
Well, now the insurance companies, they've moved to, you know, years ago it used to be go get 3 estimates.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember those days.
Yeah. Then it moved to, you know, pick your shop. Take it to your shop of choice, which everybody needs to know is that no insurance company can direct you to any individual body shop.
Yeah.
It's a customer's choice where they want to take their car. And then now what they're doing is they have a photo app. So our ads right now in our TV commercial is the photo app. So we've downloaded the apps to the most of the insurance companies. You call the insurance company, you make a claim, and they'll say, hey, why don't you send us a picture? Okay. And then based off that picture, they may send you a check for $200 or $300, you know. What we ask the customer to do is if they ask them to do a photo claim, bring it down to us and let us walk them through that photo claim process. So, you know, as professionals, we know how to document the photos, how to show them the damage.
Yeah.
And then we can show them the additional damages once it's torn down and everything goes up through the insurance company. It's a quick process for us to get everything approved at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes it easier for the customer. We've had, reason we went to that direction was because we were having a lot of cars coming in where the customers were doing this photo claim.
Right.
And again, they would come in with $300-400 check, and we'd tear the car down, and there'd be $5,000-6,000 worth of damage.
Yeah.
So if we can get most of the parts and most of the damage on the first photo claim,
Mm-hmm.
then it advances the process to go that much faster to get their car
So
fixed.
explain what that means, photo claim.
Photo claim is the insurance company will say, hey, here's your claim number.
Okay.
We have an app on our phone, so we can put in the claim number. It takes us to a certain area on the app. And then we take and document the photos for the insurance company, for the customer.
I see.
And then we upload it to the insurance company.
And that's better than having the customer do it himself.
Absolutely. It's better for us to do it for them.
Yeah.
It expedites it. At the same time, we're able to, in that moment, we're able to order the parts that are originally okayed.
Yeah.
And start the process for the customer.
Well, then, and you also know what to look for that a
Absolutely.
layperson may not even notice.
Yeah.
I mean, so for example, I recall I brought my car into you and you pointed out some things that I didn't even see.
Exactly.
Because I wouldn't know. I'm not a mechanic.
Right. No, and that's what we have the eye for.
Yeah.
So in that process also, if you have a tail light that's broken, you have a bumper that's hanging, and you feel it's safe but it's not safe, we're able to go ahead and put you in a rental car at that same time in that moment.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's all about making the customer's life easier. Correct?
Well, that's my job is to make everybody else's life easy. That's our position, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
and
great.
make sure that they're whole.
One thing I was struck by your business is it's really a family-oriented business, right?
Yes.
You have your family involved in this.
I do.
Tell folks a little bit about that.
And I've been blessed, man.
Yeah.
To have my daughters work with me. I've got one of my son-in-laws working with me.
Oh, that's wonderful.
One of my daughter's friends from high school actually started coming down with my daughter, and they would come and cook for the guys once a week when they were,
Yeah.
15 and 16 years old.
Yeah.
And she's still with me now also. So it's just, it's an amazing blessing to watch your kids grow like that, and to see women also to grow up in this industry and be such a strong voice.
Well, that's something that impressed me when I came down to
Yeah.
your body shop and took a little tour, is how many women were working there.
Yes.
That's kind of unusual. You don't normally think of
In
a
the
mechanic
auto body industry,
in the auto
right.
body industry, but I know you're one of those folks who you believe in treating everyone equal and giving
Absolutely.
people opportunities, and that's a real credit to you.
Yeah, and they're amazing. So
Yeah.
knowledgeable. When you come in, they greet you like you're one of us.
Yeah.
Man. They bring you in like family, and we really love the people. We have to understand that when somebody comes in, the inconvenience that they've been in, and we really don't know everything else that's going on, right?
Yeah.
In their lives, but we know that this is not something they expected.
Jose, when I met you, one thing that struck me about you is you seem like such a down-to-earth and level-headed and calm person. I can't ever picture you getting angry.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's because of your faith that grounds you, or you're very family-oriented. How do you? This is a tip for folks out there who are watching, who might be business owners, or who work in a business where you're dealing with angry people sometimes.
Right.
People will come in who are upset. How do you handle those folks?
Man, I'm going to tell you, it's first and foremost, it's by God's grace on my life.
Yeah.
And what God has done for me, I know that He's put me in a place where I'm at to be able to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm there. I really am there to help people.
Yeah.
He has really given me a peace and a calm in my life to be able to help people get from this point where they're at, and to bring a calmness upon them and to reassure them
Yes.
that, we're going to do what's right.
Yeah.
We are going to do what's right.
But that's
Let
amazing.
us fight the fight.
Right. And you bring that calmness to your business, which
Thank
I
you.
think if I, for a customer who's coming in stressed out and upset and angry, perhaps wanting to blame somebody for something
Sure.
that this happened, but to have someone like you who deals with that, it's very reassuring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing with the customer that comes in and says, I want all new parts, right? Everybody wants new parts on their car, right? Because the car was made with new parts. And
Yeah.
especially you got a brand new car, right? You
That's
just
right.
had an accident. And it's like I tell them, let us do the process. Don't you worry about it. When the car is done, it's going to be done right.
And when people want to find you, where do they come?
We're at 3595 Boulder Highway,
Okay.
just south of Sahara and Boulder Highway.
Mm-hmm.
And you can reach us on our website at suddenimpactauto.com. You can also send photos of any accidents or anything that you have, and we can give you some tips or help you with the process.
Telephone number?
Telephone number 702-457-3002.
I know if you just Google sudden impact
Absolutely.
collision or sudden impact auto body, you guys come up on page
Yeah.
1, so that's good.
Yeah.
But can people just bring in their car if they say, look, I want an estimate? Or?
Yeah, anytime. Just come on in. We give free estimates all day long.
Okay.
Also, my dog is down there every day to greet the customers, Mr. Axe.
So I say it's a full family project. Not only your daughters, but you've even got your dog
The
involved
dog
in
is
the business.
the dog is there every day.
That is awesome.
And the dog does the commercials.
Very good. Excellent.
So-
I've seen some of those commercials. They're very innovative.
We have a lot of fun
Yes.
at work because we have to enjoy what we do, man.
Exactly. You know what? You just said something that's so important. I think people think of work as work, but
Yeah.
it's really, if you have fun
Yeah.
in what you do, it's not really work, right?
It
It's
is, yeah.
and people can look at it and say, well, you're just in the auto body business. No, you're in the giving back business. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Okay, I'm being asked a question. Why the dog instead of a cat? Why are you discriminating against cats?
Now there is a cat. There is a cat in the commercial. It's just not my cat.
It's not your cat? All right.
It is a friend of mine's cat. No, we love all animals. And what it was really cool down there is because people see that my dog does most of the commercials. We get a lot of pet visitors. Man.
Is he like a celebrity now?
Oh, he is a celebrity. No, are you kidding me, man? My dog is so spoiled. But people bring
No regular tap water for him, right? It's
Yeah,
Perrier.
right. But they bring their dogs down. We've had birds come down. We've had all kinds of different animals come down, and we call him Mr. Axe. But he really loves the other animals. He loves when people bring their animals down.
That's awesome. What about some crazy experiences? Can you just regale our viewers with some experience that's happened? Something that just shocked you? Something that was so weird? Something out of the ordinary?
Nothing ever shocks you in this business. But the one thing that, it's just what we've seen lately, and it's been on the news over the past couple of years, is pedestrians getting hit.
Yeah.
Crossing the streets and not in the right areas. And when you see that kind of damage on a vehicle, it kind of
shakes you up a
little bit. Absolutely. Just as it does the customers. I know from experience, had a mother-in-law that somebody rode a bike in front of her, and they didn't make it.
Oh, geez.
And she never drove again. So those experiences are we feel for the people.
Yeah.
We've been blessed at the same time to be able to sit in our office and pray with people.
Mm-hmm.
God has just done an amazing thing in our lives.
That's amazing. Jose, it's been such an honor and a privilege to sit here and learn more about your business. And I've been there, I've seen it. I've met you now several times. I know the kind of person you are. You're really a great guy, and you really are so sincere, and you really try to help folks. So anybody out there, if you've got issues with your car, you're dealing with a personal injury situation, or even otherwise, Jose Gutierrez is someone you need to come down and take a visit with, and he will give you a really good some advice about what's going on with your vehicle. Why don't you tell folks again one more time, where can they find you in terms of your location, telephone number, website?
We're at 3595 Boulder Highway. We're just 2 blocks south of Sahara. Phone number is 702-457-3002. And our website is suddenimpactauto.com. And the same thing goes with you, man. You're an amazing man, and I see the care that you take for your clients also, and I want to commend you for that.
Jose, thank you so much for coming on today.
You got it.
All right, folks, this is a wrap for another episode of Paul Padda Podcast. Until next time, please stay in touch with us. Send us emails if you have questions. I know I've been getting a lot of emails from viewers commenting on how much they like the podcast. If you have ideas about future guests or topics, don't be shy. Reach out to us. Until next time, take care.